Welcome back to the Breeders' Cup Preview Show. Greg Wolf, Simon Bray, Paul LaDuca, and Tom Amos with you. We have the classic left to talk about. Zenyatta putting that perfect record on the line, 13 for 13. And the mare is the 5-2 morning line favorite in this field of 13. We're going to begin with Rip Van Winkle, though. And guys, 7-2 in this race. Of course, he's been chasing one of the best over there who did not come and see the stars. How serious, Simon, is that foot issue? He's been running with foot problems, according to Aidan O'Brien, pretty much all year long.
We've been getting mixed messages out of the Aidan O'Brien camp earlier this week. There were alarm bells ringing here as we take a look at those time form ratings earlier on in the week. He said, first of all, out of all the horses he brought here, he didn't ship very well. That's not a positive. Secondly, that a new foot problem was flaring up. He's dealt with these problems all year long, infected heels, and he's had it mostly in his front feet. Now this is the right hind foot that has caused a problem, and some anxious moments out here on the track earlier this week as he was warming up and getting very, very hot during training hours. So the camp then came back and said 2 days later he's doing much better, he's not getting as hot, but I never like that a week leading into a big race time when you start to hear those sorts of things if you're battling issues like that leading up to the race.
You don't like that, and he's going to be on a footing that's different, a footing that's firmer and probably a little harder on the feet than what he's used to. He's been on that grass overseas, and he's going to come and he's going to run on the synthetic here. The old adage by horsemen is no foot, no horse. He's in trouble.
Tony, let's bring you in here. What have you heard from the Aidan O'Brien camp concerning Rip Van Winkle?
Well, I spoke to my man in the yard today, and the vibes were pretty negative, I must admit. The hoof problems that have actually kind of been consistent with him all season. Actually, when he won the Sussex Stakes, they only made the decision to run him there down at the start, but then he came out and went by 4 lengths. You get the impression that this horse is brilliant in spite of himself and his afflictions. But what you find here is the Ballador camp, apparently they're not too keen. It did ship badly. Apparently it's going in his coat before it travelled, sweated up very badly here. You throw it all into the mix and it's not a kind of horse that I'll be looking to back at 5-2. That's what its price is in England. So I get the impression if the horse wins, it will win in spite of itself. But he's been doing that all season, and he's been doing it in pretty breathtaking fashion when he gets it right. And crucially, when he avoided See the Stars.
Yeah, he's winning the Green Elizabeth Stakes here we're looking at. That's the race that Ravens Pass won en route to his victory here last year. But from what we're hearing in the general consensus, just too many negatives and no positives here, Greg, especially a horse that's going to be a short price. I mean, this is a race that you need to have everything at an A-game level, and it's just not happening for Rip Van Winkle here.
Well, let's look at the horses that Ballydoyle's tried to win this race with in the past and come up short. Rip Van Winkle. Tony, we're going to bring you back in for this one at 80%. Or would you say, if you had to assess a percentage-wise of where he is at, what would you say?
What the Rip?
Yeah, Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah. The vibes you're getting is if it's going to win, they're not confident. They are not confident of a victory. And when you're backing a horse at 5-2 in a race of this depth, because it's not a 2-horse race by any means in my book. It could well be that the horse blows out altogether. But like I said, throughout the season, the hoof problems have been a consistent. I come back to the Goodwood performance. They were seriously considering withdrawing him at the start, but then it came out there and ran a scintillating 4-length victory in the Sussex Stakes there. So for me, if it has to be at his peak here, if Zenyatta's as good as you guys think that filly is.
All right, and I think that it's a little bit split, Paul, when you talk about Zenyatta and how people feel about her. We know Mike Smith thinks a world of her, and he thinks that she's at her best on this surface.
Well, definitely. I'm real close with Mike, and he told me, going into the Del Mar race when she barely won, that's not her track she likes. John Sheriff's even admitted that he really didn't train her up to that race because he's not fond of the synthetic down at Del Mar. This is her favorite track. I think the question coming in is she's only been passing 6, 7, 8 females. Now she's got to pass 13 males. It's going to be a tough test. Her stablemate, Life is Sweet, won the Ladies Classic today. John Sheriff is going to try to pull that double off. I think this is her best track. She's going to have some running to do. Tom, I don't think Mike's going to he can't be overconfident like he usually is against the mares that she's been running at. He's going to have to save some ground in this race.
Well, you're watching her right there, Paul, and you're seeing that's exactly her style. Swing outside and make a big run at these horses. And her works leading up to the Breeders' Cup have been very, very good. But I think you have to question whether Zenyatta is better than these horses. Yes, she's better than those fillies, but is she better than the boys she's going to run against?
Let me ask them. A lot of people always say the way she's won And I've had this conversation with Ron Ellis plenty of times. They always say, oh, she's got more in the tank. How much really more in the tank is there? You think it's another 3-4 lengths, or is it 4 or 5 more lengths?
I think an effort's an effort. And
Exactly.
she certainly looks good when she does it. But remember this, too. She's going to get another 1/8 of a mile further than she's ever gone, and she looks like she'll really enjoy that.
Oh, that's enjoy. Okay, that's a good point.
Oh, no
yeah,
question.
never gone the mile and a quarter.
Yeah, she's been crying out for a mile and a quarter since she was a yearling. She was about 16 hands, so I don't think that's a problem. Horse who I think has got a problem, though, could be Summer Bird, Greg.
Never been on a synthetic racetrack. You look at his last 3 starts, he's been so brilliant. Those back-to-back wins in Grade 1s, both on sloppy racetracks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's a very good-looking horse, don't get me wrong, but historically, Travis winners have had a horrible record here in the Classic. 15 of them have been beaten. 5 of them have gone post-Wood as the favorite. History doesn't help Summer Bird, but history's there to be broken. I mean, if you take this victory here on the Jockey Club Gold Cup, it was a good performance against a decent field. But can this performance on a sloppy racetrack convert to the synthetic surface behind us, the pro ride here at Tannen?
You know, to me, he seems like a grinding type. And over this pro ride, you need to have that little bit of turn of foot. I asked Tim Ice on the set the other day about what about this horse with synthetic before, and he shunned me aside pretty good, said, I don't want to talk about it. The horse is training good. He's very, very confident. I just think the pro ride plays against this horse. I think if this was a conventional dirt race, I think Summer Bird would be really, really tough to handle. But on this pro ride, first time, I don't think his style suits to this.
Physically, too, though, he's matured quite a bit, and he looks like a great horse from a physical standpoint. Tom, picks in the Classic, where are you going to wind up?
Okay, I said there were a few horses that really trained well coming into their races. The third and final one is Richard's Kid. Richard's Kid has trained great coming into this race. I love him at a price of 12-1. He is my guy, and he saves the day for Bob Baffert after a disappointing beginning of the day.
If you listen to Tom Amos and myself, we should be handicapping in the same hotel room, because I'm going with Richard's Kid as well. Zenyatta is the best horse in the race, but I'm just looking for a little price here, guys, with Richard's Kid.
Einstein is my long shot, but Zenyatta is going to win tomorrow, go 14 for 14. We're all going to pop champagne, and me and Tom Amos are going to do the Tom Amos dance when Zenyatta wins tomorrow.
That. You saw that dance.
And then, gentlemen, she wins the race. She Horse of the Year.
My book, she is.
My book, she is.
$10,000 if you have it in your pocket.
No answer?
Where are you guys going to go if you had $10,000?
Quick question. Zenyatta.
What?
Zenyatta, let's make it worthwhile.
Tom?
I'm going with the big horse, the Kid. The Kid at a price.
Thanks for watching. Have a great Breeders' Cup Saturday.